This program is fan-generated. If you'd like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support are greatly appreciated. Hello, I'm Annie Cyrus, the producer of the Glazov Gang. First, I wanted to thank you all for all the great support you have been giving us for the last 4 years, especially last few months. Because of your love and your support, we were able to come back and continue our fight. But now we still do need your support. Please go to jamieglazov.com and donate any amount you can. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. And we want you to know that we will not rest until we win this war to guarantee a free and beautiful America for our next generation. Thank you.
Welcome to the Glazov Gang with Jamie Glazov. But sitting in for Jamie Glazov tonight is me, Ari David, stand-up comedian, actor, writer, social media expert, and all-around political expert on things. You've seen me here before. It's a great honor filling in for Jamie tonight. And tonight I have an amazing guest. The Shillman Journalism Fellow from the David Horowitz Institute, Daniel Greenfield, joins me tonight. And we're going to talk about different issues about Islam in the Middle East. So how are you, Daniel? Thank you for being here.
Pretty good. I was wondering what happened to Jamie. I thought he'd lost a little weight.
Jamie, we don't care where Jamie is tonight. Tonight, it's a different show. Let's just put it that way. So you wrote an article. Let's start with the Hillary Clinton email scandal. You wrote an article recently about Huma Abedin and the missing BlackBerry. Do you want to talk about that for a couple of moments, about what your conclusions are on that situation?
Well, it's a ridiculous situation, but as usual with the Clintons, they build cover-ups on top of cover-ups on top of other cover-ups. And, you know, we've gone through all this with the IRS scandal already. Everything would turn out to be destroyed or deleted. They're claiming the BlackBerries have been destroyed. They can't find them. They're going to try to block the investigation every step of the way. Their first step is obviously to claim we don't know anything about it. It was probably destroyed. They did the same thing with the IRS hard drives. Only now we're beginning to get the full scope of the IRS emails, so this kind of investigation is going to take quite a while.
Isn't it interesting that we live in a world in which the NSA has the ability to track all of our text messages, all of our emails, all of our phone calls, but high-level government officials from Lois Lerner to Hillary Clinton to Huma Abedin, their information just vanishes without a trace. Isn't that interesting and so convenient for them?
Well, it works both ways. On the one hand, everything we write can be tracked. On the other hand, they get instant immunity and a wonderful little hard drive shredder service complete with magnetic passes.
Yeah, if only Jared Fogle of Subway had access to their data evisceration resources, he wouldn't be looking at several years in jail right now.
Well, he visited with Obama once, but apparently didn't manage to build a deep relationship with him, or, you know, he'd be Secretary of State now.
I guess they weren't each other's type.
Or Secretary of Education.
Right. That's a good point with the situation with Arnie Duncan. Something that I think is endemic or kind of obvious about the Clintons and about many people like them is there's a saying, liars always lie, cheaters always cheat, losers always lose. And when it comes to the Clintons, if you're a liar, a cheater, and a loser, I think your name might be Hillary. Isn't it interesting that the very same mistakes she made in how they played the Whitewater through the Lewinsky scandal are the exact same mistakes they made vis-a-vis the Benghazi through the email scandal and the Clinton Foundation scandal?
The Clintons don't just lie anymore. They lie preemptively. They even lie when there's absolutely no need to lie. The standard Clinton response is like the standard CIA response is just do a cover-up just in case, which is really what got them into trouble here because they just began doing a cover-up even before Hillary got inside. They were already planning to cover up scandals that hadn't even happened yet. Yeah.
And what are your thoughts? Mark Stein the other day, filling in for Rush Limbaugh, was talking about one of the ways the Benghazi attack happened with such efficiency and the way they were able to land such a high-value target as Ambassador Stevens is there was a way they knew that the ambassador to Libya was not at the main ambassador complex within Tripoli, but at some relatively unguarded shall we say, obscure outpost in Benghazi. Isn't there a chance that the very way, as Stein points out, that such small-time internet operators like, say, ISIS or Al-Qaeda, relative to the hacking abilities of the Chinese or Russians, were able to hack Hillary's email server so easily is because it didn't have the massive data protections that a State Department or Pentagon server would have had, which would have required the massive brute force attacks those servers would have required from people and hacking groups with brute force capability like the Russians and Chinese. In other words, does it look to you that the Benghazi attack and the death of Stevens is directly relatable and directly the fault of the way Hillary managed her data on that server?
It's certainly worth investigating. One important thing to remember is that Hillary chose not to have the facility guarded by United States Marines. They were guarded by an Islamist militia that was closely linked to the Islamist militia that attacked it. So the enemy was always on the inside. They always knew what the operations were because they were on the inside. And we don't even know what their data arrangements were in Libya, and nobody's really looked into that. But if it was running through Libyan servers, then the enemy had access to everything they were sending all along.
Well, your conclusions and your insights are, of course, fascinating on that issue. Let's switch gears. What are your latest thoughts of the Iran deal?
Well, the Iran deal manages to keep getting worse every week or so. We know now that Iran will be doing some of its own self-inspecting, which is like the police asking drug dealers to send some photos to prove that they're not storing any drugs. The lies are just really getting out of control, and the arguments are just running low. They have no actual arguments in favor of it. So now they're arguing that the people who oppose the deal are warmongers, just want to bomb places. And then they're arguing Obama is telling congressmen that, you know, if you want to bomb Iran, this deal will be great for bombing Iran. So it's just like Clinton-esque levels of compulsive lying where they're just saying anything that comes out of their mouths.
Yeah. And what's your sense? Do you get the sense that rather than Obama just being a bumbler in chief and incompetent on this one, was actually, as some may think, was actually doing the dirty work of the Iranians to begin with? In other words, if it was a chess game, was Obama playing Iran's pieces as well as Khomeini?
Well, I predicted that Obama was going to do exactly this back in 2008, so it's really not a surprise. I wasn't alone in that. Most people really were calling it and said that Obama would back Iran's right to enrichment. He would back Iran's nuclear program because really that's what some of his advisors were saying even back then. So it's not really that surprising. But, you know, some people think that there's a contradiction between Obama being incompetent and being malicious. He can be both at the same time. If you look at communist dictatorships, they're often both. I mean, Venezuela, which is completely falling apart, they're using currency now as napkins. That was a very malicious regime. That was an evil regime. The Soviet Union was both incompetent and malicious. I mean, the left tends to be evil. It also tends to be incompetent. The two aren't contradictory.
What's your sense of the Jewish Democrat senators, like, say, Schumer, or the members of the House of Representatives like Eliot Engels, who have come out against the deal? Do you think that they're actually in the business of stopping the deal, or is it just a ploy to receive political cover once the deal passes anyway as a fait accompli?
I don't think anybody is really in the business of stopping the deal. Maybe there might be a few senators and congressmen, but few of the Republicans are also in the business of stopping the deal. They just wanted to, the Corker Amendment just made it so that this would be about this would be on the Democrats. That was the goal here, as opposed to being on the Republicans. We've been playing this game between the Democrats and the Republicans for a while in the Obama administration. Well, the Republicans don't actually seem to want to stop Obama, but they want to make this a public issue and they want to debate it, but they don't want to actually step up. And the Democrats, a lot of them are playing the same game. They've got their own political ambitions. Schumer wants to be Senate Majority Leader. He needs deep pockets to do that, so he's going where the donors are. Other local Democrats also following their donors. They're following what their own ambitions are. It's really, for them, it's about the bottom line. They're not taking national security into account. And
what's your sense of Israel attacking Iran in the next couple of weeks once the deal hits the congressional deadline of around September 12th, 13th, 14th?
I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, but it's been in the works. It's been discussed for a while. The problem for Netanyahu is overcoming a lot of the domestic opposition, because for the Israeli left, they don't care about Iran. They care about stopping Netanyahu. Like the Democrats under Bush, they're really fixated on beating him, and they would be happy to let Iran nuke Israel as long as they could beat Netanyahu. Unfortunately, a lot of them are embedded in the military. They're embedded in the security establishment. So that's really going to be the challenge for Netanyahu, if he can work around them and make this happen.
Very interesting. Well, Daniel Greenfield, Shillman Fellow of Journalism at the David Horowitz Freedom Center, thank you for joining me. Your insights are always fantastic, as always. And for you, the audience, thank you for watching us. Please support the show. Your support is absolutely necessary to make this show happen at jamieglazoff.com. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel called The Glazov Gang. Thank you very much. I'm Ari David, and I'll see you next time.